Make some noise for your host, Mighty Joe W.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mighty Joe Show. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon as I record this. I'm trying to stick to week, not give you all that time in between, so want to get this recorded on the Saturday afternoon. I just left the gym from yoga, getting my body all stretched out, so I'm feeling all loose and stretched out and ready to roll. I've got some good things to talk about today. Going to update you on my sound design journey, tell you what I've done this week and what we have coming up. I'm also going to tell you what games I've been playing this past week, what music I've been listening to in terms of video game audio, which will be some soundtracks, got a couple good ones. And then we're going to talk about possible subliminal messages in music and games. I saw an article today on Kotaku, I believe that's how you say the website, I don't know. But it's talking about these eerie, crazy, weird sounds that are in the game Splatoon, a happy little colorful children game on the Wii. So we're going to get to the bottom of this, maybe. And I'm going to play those sounds for you, and we're going to just break that down a little bit. All right, first things first, talking about video game sound design. I got my Sony PCM M10 in the mail. I did an unboxing earlier this week, and I'm excited to use it. Only thing is, I didn't think about batteries. It takes AA batteries, and who has batteries these days? Not me. So I'm so used to everything just charging, having a rechargeable battery. And I need to go get some batteries so I can start using this bad boy. I was planning on doing some folding and field recording today, getting some footsteps and just a bunch of other sounds to start building up my own library. So really excited to use this. This is one of the better sound recorders that are affordable. And in the unboxing, I said it was between this and the Zoom H4n. So I went with this Sony one. This was actually the first one I learned about when I first started researching on sound design. So, yes, definitely excited listening to everything around me and just the possibilities of things that I can record. So the next project for a class is monster sounds, which is really intriguing because I feel like the sky is the limit when it comes to monster sounds, creating your own monster sounds. And I've been listening to Top Score podcast by Emily Reese, which is really, really good. She's a diehard classical music and video game music fan. So if you enjoy video game music, I definitely encourage you to try it out. She did an interview a while back with Dead Space composer Jason Graves, and he kind of touched on how he came up with the sounds for his monsters. And he actually had some violin players come, based on what he said, some violin players come in. He didn't write anything for them to play. They just kind of played. He took that audio and started to distort and edit that audio and use that to create just new sounds that he ended up using for the monsters. So I would like to go back and play that game. I have that game. I have every Dead Space, actually. So go back and just listen to that from a different perspective of how in the world did he do this? And also another one that was cool, there's a video on The Last of Us, how they came up with the audio and music for everything. And there's a segment where they're showing how they made the clicker sound. So you could just see the guy twisting his face and just making that sound by himself. So again, that just kind of seemed to happen organically, him just making sounds and start doing that in the back of his throat and said, you know what, that would be terrifying if we went ahead and edited that in the game. So it's just got my brain going, trying to think of different sounds, like can I record the refrigerator sound, something like that, and just start to edit it, affect it, and mix it with some other stuff. So we'll see as I look more into what exactly we have to do for the project, which way I would go with that. So again, just excited about everything. It's always interesting because it's like 50%, well, I won't say percentages, but you have to have creativity and you have to have a technical side to be able to do this, as I continue to learn each day, and having to learn some of the programming side and implementation as well is very, very important when it comes to making this stuff happen. So just continuing, I'm probably going to try to get somewhat familiar with C++. It was recommended to have some kind of a background on programming. He specifically mentioned C++. So that's something I'll look at, a little bit, and maybe down the line be able to spend more time with that. So monster sounds, we'll be making all kinds of sounds, get that into the demo reel that I'm working on. And the other project that I'm working on is The Chromebook, I did an unboxing for that a couple of weeks ago. That review is due on Tuesday, so I will be working on doing and this has to be a real in-depth review. This is from Expo TV, so there's a lot of guidelines that you have to follow. So I'll be trying to hit up everything to give them the best review I could get because I appreciate it. And I'm actually using the Chromebook right now. This is what I'm looking at. I just jotted some notes down, some stuff I wanted to talk about, because my Mac is so dang loud and my compact is old and slow. So this one is fast and quiet, so it's making it a lot easier having this right next to me while I'm recording. Now, let's talk about games I'm playing. First, I want to mention the unboxing of the Nintendo 64. I actually hooked that bad boy up to my HD, of course, my flat screen TV, and it wasn't the same as I remember. I couldn't make out the pixels. I'm like, what am I looking at? This don't look the same. So, and then in addition to that, the controller is so awkward and weird. I remember the first time I saw the 64 controller and I saw the 3 handles and I'm like, I only got 2 hands. What am I supposed to do? So I didn't know where to put my hands back then. And I'm right now you can't see my hands, but I keep grabbing back and forth between the 3 handles, trying to find that sweet spot. It's just a weird controller, and you got used to it the more you played, and as they started to make games specifically, of course, for the 64, it started to make sense. But yeah, in 2015, that controller feels weird, so I put in some GoldenEye, some 007. I put in Perfect Dark just to get a feel of it, Star Wars Unleashed Racing, and just played it a little bit, and yeah, it's definitely feels different. I would like to play Super Mario, Smash Brothers, or Mario Kart. Those games, they never age. Those are some timeless games, and you could put those in anytime and have fun with that. So keeping with the Nintendo theme, this is becoming a Nintendo show. And I've been thought of more of the Sony, the PlayStation guy, but it's been Nintendo heavy. So yeah, it's been another 3DS week. I guess that's what I've been playing when I'm short on time. You could pick that up and play it anytime. So I actually went back to Pokemon X, and I've been doing battles in the Battle Mansion and the Battle Chat 2. Just trying to get some battle points and all that good stuff. I was looking up things you can do after beating the game because it's such a good game. But, once you beat it, it's like, oh, where do I go from here? And it's hard to continue to level up unless you just keep playing the Elite Four over and over. So anyway, I'll just jump back into that, just reminding myself of what Pokemon I have and leveling up because it's always fun. So just trying to get some battle points and just, like I said, doing that with the little bit of free time I have. Still haven't found that next game I'm going to play. I still think I'm just holding off until Fallout 4. But in the meantime, guess I'll be on that 3DS. Now let's talk about the music I've been listening to. Soundtracks I'm listening to. When I was listening to an episode of Top Score podcast, they played a song from Transistor, one I haven't heard before. And I was like, what? I was like, what is this? I actually pulled out my phone. I have an app called SoundHound, which detects songs for you. It's on the Android. And it came out to be a Transistor song. So I looked up the soundtrack, which I never heard all of. And as I started listening to it, I saw in the description section, it suggests that you play the game first because the songs are closely related to the game. And I forget that every time. I come back to it every couple months because I'll hear something and then I'll see that and be like, oh, that's right. So I actually have the game. I just haven't played through it. So I need to play Transistor so I could listen to this dang soundtrack because everything I hear from it, it just sounds fresh and innovative, and it's got a fusion mix to it, a little bit of elements from jazz and electronic music, and yeah, everything I've heard from it I liked. So I really want to listen to that because the song I heard, I can't think of the name of it right now. I want to do a piano tutorial for, and that would give me finally a piano tutorial again after all of these months. So if anybody's listening to this that have been wanting a new piano tutorial, I'll probably do something from Transistor next until I just hear some new stuff and get inspired to do another one. Another game soundtrack I keep hearing about is Journey. I hear about that soundtrack everywhere. I've seen articles and have seen videos of people talking about the music in Journey. And that seems to be one of those staples of video game music, and I haven't heard anything from it yet. I guess similar to Transistor, since I know the music is important in that game, I would like to experience that game and experience the music organically in the way that it was designed to be experienced, not just sitting listening to it from front to back, but playing the game too, because I heard the game was really good as well. I can't believe I still haven't played it. So I think that's going to be the next one I pick up. They actually just released it on the PS4, so maybe I'll get it on the PS4. Probably really doesn't matter which console that I play that on because it's not a graphical powerhouse from what I've seen. It seems to be more about the experience. It's an indie game. But the music to Journey, and somebody actually recommended that to me and asked me to do some piano tutorials for that as well. So that's long overdue, listening to the music from Journey and playing that game. So those are the two, Transistor and Journey. I guess that'll be the two I focus on in terms of I've been trying to find some games to play. I might focus on those two. So let's transition into the topic of the day, subliminal messages in music. And this is not a new topic at all, just in general in life. And what made me think about this, as I mentioned at the top of the show, is the article I saw today about some just creepy, eerie sounds in the game Splatoon on Nintendo Wii U. And I'm going to play a little bit of it right here, right now. That's enough. So I haven't played the game. I don't know the story. So I don't have the full picture of why something like that will be in the game. But just simply seeing or knowing the game as a cartoony, kid-friendly shooter and hearing that and seeing this article, this is some freaky stuff. This is like, I was going to say like the Nether in Minecraft. Everything seems happy in that game. Then you get into the Nether and it's just very creepy and fire everywhere. But this is some freaky sounding stuff. So based on this article, the sound designer was pressed for time. I guess they had a crunch time leading up to the release, and he was trying to get a lot done and asked some other people to help him with some stuff. So he said he doesn't know how these sounds got into the game. So he said when he gets back to Japan, he's gonna play it and try to figure out where this came from. So some people don't know if it has something to do with the story of the game, the bigger picture, or somebody else that worked on it with them pulled a prank on them. So that seems to happen when you got a lot of different people working on something. Somebody will put something in the game, and the person over there wouldn't catch it. I know that's happened to Naughty Dog a couple times. That's how The Last of Us got ruined, because they left that newspaper in Uncharted 3 that was hinting at The Last of Us. So it seems, now me looking at it from a perspective of sound design and the program Wise I've been using, it seems like it's so many different ways that could happen. If that was meant to be in the game and that's part of the story and adding to the effect, that's great. But since so many people seem confused where that's coming from, I'm thinking that it's not. And if the sound designer really doesn't know where it came from, then I'm guessing somebody put it in or something got distorted or messed up. But that sounds too specifically creepy and horror film-esque to be a mistake. But I was just going to say, again, me trying to wrap my head around everything within the program Wise and implementation and editing and using the audio buses and all the different kind of effects and everything that could potentially go wrong in the whole process from front to back. I could see some kind of mistake or something distorted happening, but again, that just sounds a little too specific and just freaky. And if I was a little kid playing that and I was hearing that and I was feeding through my headphones, if I had on headphones, or my speakers, and getting into my brain and my system, I might have been a little freaked out, like what the heezy is going on? Because Metal Gear Solid has had some stuff that seems subliminal, some freaky stuff that has happened in that series. I'm thinking specifically when I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2, I'm not going to spoil it, just in case somebody hasn't played and wants to still play. And I would imagine that stuff is happening in 3 and in 4, because I haven't played all the way through those two, but just based on the first two games, they had some freaky stuff and stuff that just mess with your mind, have you dookie bricks, because they just like to mess with you. So I don't know if that's subliminal, that's in Splatoon, what's going on. I know BioShock Infinite had a good story about there's an undertone throughout the whole game of like this kind of almost a drone moaning kind of sound. and that I had to look up that article again, but basically it's a song that's slowed all the way down, something like that. And once it's slowed down to that level, it makes that kind of moaning, droning sound that you hear throughout the whole game. I after hearing that, I never went back to listen for it. That's something I still want to go back and listen to. But I just think that's cool from a creative standpoint. It could freak you out if you don't know exactly what you're hearing. And if you do feel like something evil's being fed to you, that's never a good feeling. Who wants evil fed to them? Not me. But when there's a good story behind it of just guys getting creative with the sound, and it's not some kind of freaky story or something that didn't happen in this haunted studio, that's all good with me, because that's what I'm going to be trying to do, really push the boundaries of sound, of music, and of the way that you perceive things in gaming. And I'm thinking about, once all of this virtual reality gaming becomes truly mainstream, just what you're going to be able to do in terms of 3D sound. And specifically speaking of horror games, and those are games that I played the most growing up, games like Resident Evil, some Silent Hill, later on The Last of Us, Dead Space. You're going to be able to really freak people out when you got some 3D virtual reality, and really bend and mess with people's minds. And again, we're not about that evil, but we're about stretching the boundaries of and the limitations of what was possible before. So, I usually don't say leave comments, but leave some dang comments. I should have said this at the top of the show. I appreciate everybody for listening to the show. Let me know your thoughts on anything that I've talked about. If you have any questions about the school I'm referring to, School of Video Game Audio, if you're interested in that. If you have any questions about any of that, let me know. I also put pictures, progress pictures on my Instagram page, The Mighty Joe W, if you want to see any of that. And yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Keep coming back. I'm going to keep giving you the goods. I'm going to keep trying to stick to one a week, not go so much time in between, because I like to document everything I'm going through and keep you all informed on what's going on with this game audio, because it's going to be taking over. It's getting better and better. It's getting on par with the movies, with the films, with the TV shows. It's getting on par with that. Gaming is coming up. People want to laugh at the gaming culture, but I'm telling you, man, it has come so far in just a few decades, and it just, I feel like it's already on par with film, and the music is right there as well. So let's keep doing this. I'm excited about it all. I got some stuff to go work on right Nizzy, so I will talk to you all later. Peace out.